And then, of course, we had the Tag Team Champions versus the Tag Team Champions. So the Smackdown Tag Team Champs, the Usos, versus the Raw Tag Team Champions and Riddle and Randy Orton, known as RKBRO. And in this particular match, Randy Orton set the record for the most appearances on pay-per-views in WWE. And then, of course, the next night on Raw, the most appearances ever on Raw. I watched Randy Orton in this match and toward the end of it. I don't think I'd ever seen Randy Orton so animated in a match in terms of he was so happy and so proud to sort of be there. Whilst he did say the record, he didn't know about it, and he probably didn't, and it didn't mean as much. If you looked at his face and when Riddle came out sort of dressed like him and, you know, trying to do the whole thing and do the RKOs and all that sort of thing the next night, and that, I think that whole 24-hour period meant a hell of a lot to him.
We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. This could be getting towards his farewell. Yeah, you don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, true.
We don't know. We don't know, right? I don't know. To me, I don't think he's wrestling better than he has probably in a long time as far as what he does. We don't know.
Riddle's revitalised him a bit, so to speak.
Maybe the tagging of the two of them. Look, he doesn't need Riddle.
No, it's the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. But there might be something in that. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Riddle, right?
I don't mind him.
He looks jerky when he works. It just doesn't look right. It's just something about the way he moves, and he's got a jerky style of how he works. And he's also always sometimes, and I guess this is because of the character he's developing, but he's almost a hairbreadth away from being goofy. Now, and I don't like that when I watch wrestling. I don't like goofy shit. You know, it's a man's sport. You know, so I think of it that way. So when I watch it as a fan, I like it like that. So I think that's what irritates me about Riddle. And he looks jerky with the way he works. But on the other hand, when you look at Orton, it's almost like watching him glide. He's so smooth, he's too smooth. Right? And the finish of this match was the best finish of the night. Absolutely the best finish of the night. What do you reckon, Anthony? You agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the RKO, I think you saw that Riddle took most of that bump.
Yeah, but out of this, to time it, out of the yeah,
called it, I think.
Yeah, to time that when somebody's coming off the top rope with a splash, and to time the jump and everything, that's one thing Orton's always had, is that brilliant timing. And I think that's genetics from the old man and from the grandfather. They had great timing.
It's just instinct, isn't it?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, you sort of, but I think he's probably better than Cowboy Senior and Cowboy Junior, and as well as Barry O, because Barry O wasn't bad, the uncle.
Yeah.
He was great too, but I think he's probably been the best generation out of the lot, as far as he had a little bit more charisma than the other two.
I don't personally remember the grandfather, but I certainly remember the father and Barry O. And I think certainly out of those two, by far the best.
Yeah. So I'd say that. Oh look, Cowboy Senior was good, but remember we're talking
a different era, a completely different era, different style, the whole bit. Yeah, but you know, if you had to rate him, I'd be rating Randy because Flair keeps calling him one of the best two wrestlers ever.
Oh, look,
him and AJ Styles, he reckons, are two of the best he's ever seen.
Look, this is where sometimes wrestlers are not great for rating. Because, and I'm not saying about Flair, but in general, because as a wrestler, you watch what they're doing in the ring technique-wise, and that's how you rate them, right?
Yeah.
But if you really need to rate them, is how well they get over. And problem is Orton's a bit like, though they say Cowboy Ace Jr., right?
Yeah.
Bob was at his time technically the best wrestler, and I think he was when you watch him. Smooth, like his son. Everything done the ring is smooth. But did he get over? No. He doesn't really get over unless he's working with someone that's over. He can't. He's not a Hogan. Hogan was one of the worst as far as technique-wise, if you want to look at the big era, major era, right, of big guys. But he got over. It's a bit like Cena. We'll talk about Cena before.
Yeah.
Cena had a herky-jerky style, a bit like Riddle's. Jerky, not smooth, but charisma and being able to use the mic got over. Once they get over, the other guy's Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
You know, just for instance, Dusty didn't have the best looking body, wasn't the most athletic guy in the world, right? But mate, could he talk on a mic and had charisma? So when you rate wrestling, sometimes you need to step back as a wrestler and step back as a trainer and look at the whole
package,
and say, okay, well, I always put it on who puts money on seats or my phone. If I'm sitting there and I'm flicking through my phone, that guy's not great. Yeah. If I'm sitting there watching, even if his technique is shit, you go, oh, this guy's fantastic because he's got me into it. That's what you want. It's entertainment. You want to be entertained.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it is. Yeah. So how did you boys score this match?
I gave it a 4.
Oh, okay.
I went 6.
I must have been.
The finish was amazing.
I gave it 7.
The finish was amazing. The Usos were probably the weak link in this one.
Okay, interesting point, but yeah.
We just spent how long talking about RKBRO? We haven't even mentioned the Usos.
Yeah, true, actually, yeah. Okay, good point, yeah.
They were the weak link. There's nothing for me when I was watching them. Like, if you look at their grandfathers and their fathers with the Headhunters and the Samoan Hit Squad, right? They're very plain. They're very reserved compared to those guys. Those guys, they look like they want to kill people. You know, the Usos look like that they hanging out on some street corner in friggin' California somewhere. You know, so for me, they don't, and they didn't present that thing as being killers. So, and they have a tendency to do that now. They're very reserved. So, I think they need to go back to the islands, smack a few coconuts over, come back with a whole new attitude, and freaking will want to kill everyone and potentially eat them. I remember the times when Seeker would be walking around with a raw fish in his mouth. Nothing. As a child, I said, this guy's insane. I don't even go anywhere near him. It's right. So, you know, I don't think they got that aura. And no. So, brilliant, though. I mean, athletically, once again, Islander.
Yeah, great.
Athletically, friggin' well, no charisma. They actually require... Heyman should be out there with them. You want to get them over, put Heyman out there with them. Heyman should be out at every one of their matches.
Alrighty.
Well, actually, they were at their best when they had... Which one married the other one? The woman that used to be with them?
Jimmy's married to Naomi.
I think Naomi was in it for a while, and when she was doing the talking and that,
yeah,
they were getting over. They have, when it comes, they have the abilities, but they don't have the charisma.
I'm actually surprised very quickly. That's probably a nice lead-in into the next match. But I'm surprised they haven't actually got Naomi into this bloodline thing with the Reigns and the Usos.
She's married.
She's getting shagged around by Shayna. Not Shayna Baszler. What's the other one? The WWE official.
Corella. They call her Corella Deville. Another one you're talking about, Sonya
Deville. Sorry,
Sonya Deville. Yeah,
I'm done. Blame. Yeah, because they're getting all this heat with her now. Whether Sonya's ready to come back into action and this is going to be her first feud or something, which otherwise I don't know why she's doing it. But see, I would put Naomi into the bloodline thing now.
I would. I think the Usos need
something,
a valet or something to get them over charisma-wise.
Yeah.
They don't have it naturally.
No.
Have it naturally.